gets into the mid game, these guys just team fight better.
I will say, I think 5 kills on a Yumi is a lot scarier than 5 kills on a Renata.
That would be wild.
Yeah, because Yumi actually chunks really hard with items under her belt as well as she scales up. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not expecting to see that, especially not into a Caitlyn Karma. If you get 5 kills on that Caitlyn Karma in lane, I think the game's already done for Fury at that point.
No, it's a best of 3. You say, you know what, go next split. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty much go next split. Even if you do have an extra game, it's going to be so hard to bounce back. And for Furia, they're taking risks, right? This is a very early game focused composition, and I want to see them play to that strength here. There is no time for chill. You've got to start finding advantages really early. And I'm going to put a timer on this. If they're not ahead by 15 minutes by at least 3,000 gold here, I think Ritter just going to outskill and win this just by sitting back and farming.
Yeah, I'll throw money on that. I would like to reemphasize for my employers, I would not throw money on that. I'm not allowed to do
that. Throw
that.
channel points on that.
Yeah, throw some channel points on that. No, but I think you're exactly right. Yeah, that's gonna be what has to happen. Fleet footwork and Comet for Natuno and Redbert. Yeah, it's all about just oppression. It is all about pressure here. And in the jungle matchup is Hecarim into Viego. I know Pwn Star Shibi has intense negative feelings about Viego. But this is a chance, like you said, in a specific composition with the resets. Even now, there aren't many champions that just get picked for no reason. Yes, you can have your qualms with Viego, and he could be very boom or bust, but so can a lot of junglers. Guigo getting moseyed out of his jungle right now. FNB, gonna get that fleet footwork proc off. There you go. And Ranger, with that little bit of pressure, gonna try to get onto the Wolves here, but Aegis and Grevthar are there to meet and match. Envy there as well. In the bot lane, they're just going to do what they do. And Ranger, he's going to grab those Wolves. Aegis is going to concede it, and he's going to start bottom. Might see some vertical jungling as a result here. FNB going to help out Ranger with the leash here. Little level 1 shenanigans for Furia.
Okay, this is huge 4x4 because I'm normally with Shibi on that. I'm not a fan of Viego, and a big reason why is your early game is so weak. And normally it's Hecarim invading Viego early, not the other way around. The only reason why that worked was because FNB chunked out Gigo so hard, and Gigo kind of not respecting that, didn't actually go back to base, just went right back to lane trying to get an experience here. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing First Blood come down from a solo kill on FNB.
No, Guigo has been returning damage. Excuse me, very well. Minions. Yeah, that's going to make a difference. They're both level 1. Guigo has dinged to 2. FNB going to be not too far behind him here. Aegis clearing out the bottom side of his map. And Ranger just went diagonally. I didn't see which path he took. I'm surprised to see that little icon on that section of the map. But yeah, even in the mid lane, we saw some heavy trading that we didn't really touch on. But Grevthar and Envy have been going at it. Envy, despite being down CS, is up a level. He's got the electrocute. He's got that kill threat for sure. And this composition, like we said, it's very high octane, but it is much tougher to execute. But a good start here as Ranger, in theory, has found himself some advantages here. And now he's on the side of his map. He's on his own side of the map. He knows that Aegis ain't going to try some... he's not going to step to the wrong side of the tracks, if you will. So he's got free reign here, does Ranger right now.
Yeah, not after that early buff steal away. And Aegis just had to go right down to his bot side. Couldn't even counter because of the lane priority that Natuno, Redbird had. And Envy, yeah, Envy traded heavily and lost a lot of health for it, but he was trying to maintain that pressure now. Aegis looking to go for FNB, and FNB took a turret shot.
Yeah, he took that tower shot. Guigo jumping forward here. He's up a level on him. FNB just trying to take someone down with him. Aegis not going to try some funny in the jungle, but... Aegis now in some trouble here. Ranger following him up there. Can Guigo avenge his teammates? A lot of healing coming in from Ranger on the Heartbreaker, on the reset rather. Goes right back in, knocks him up. He's got level 4. Minion damage is enough. How about a double kill for Ranger?
I was thinking for a second that Ranger's not going to be happy that FNB died there, because you kind of nullify a lot of that early pressure, that steal away. But no, it was just bait, right? Sure, FNB goes down, but Ranger's going to be more than happy to pick up both those kills. It isn't First Blood. It's better than First Blood. You get more experience, and I want to see Ranger continue taking this lead, getting in there. We said Furia needs an early lead here. They weren't getting it from the bot lane, from that Caitlyn Karma lane, so I'm glad to see that they're finding it topside and they have something to play through.
And especially on the Viego, because he what makes him balanced, depending on who you ask, I suppose. I know people have strong feelings about this champion, but yes, his early game is really, really weak, but he's a snowballing champion, and this snowball, it's starting up here, and thank goodness, because like you said, I was feeling tilted for Ranger. He's like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like I shoved this Hecarim out of your business. You're gonna walk up and take a tower shot right now?" Let's get another look at this fight here, because it started all ages.
Yeah. So FMB, like you mentioned, took that turret shot. He's really, really low, but FMB actually bought time and was laying down quite a bit of damage. So you see that Aegis, after getting that kill, he's half health. Gigo is half health here, and while Ranger doesn't have access to the Heartbreaker reset just yet, he is still very, very strong in the jungle and was able to answer this. This was the super dicey part. I didn't think Ranger was actually going to be able to turn this, but Gigo is mini form, and that's one of the issues with Mininar, always has been. Base stats are super, super low on that champion. He's very, very squishy. He's basically an AD carry almost. So if ever the enemy can get on you, and in this case with a Hecarim, you can, then you're going to pop.
Yeah, and he got so much healing. I think he might have smited a minion as well. I don't think that was just off the W, but yeah, he decided to go right back in. And now FNB is a level down. He doesn't have his ultimate, and Guigo's got full health here. Counter pick, what? One more auto? Denied. Guigo gets his vengeance.
This was not how it went last game 4x4. We saw the exact same things happen last game, where Gigo went mega and FNB just spaced almost perfectly there. But it works out this time, and you've got to take advantage of that, because once FNB, is 6, has that collateral damage as well to create more space, it just gets harder. And once again, Ranger really good at getting these objectives in the early game. Last game we saw as well, anytime Rid made a play in a lane, Furia automatically answered with an objective. Granted, it was more about the Heralds last game than the Dragons, but first Dragon went to Furia very similarly, and once again they get first Dragon, get this Hextech Drake under their belt.
Ocean Drake will be up next. Pretty even game state here. Yeah, I've been good for Gigo, man. I've been a little unimpressed right now with FNB. It just seems like, I mean, you got to give credit to Guigo, because every little advantage that he had, he's been pressing, and he's just gone right into these plated steel caps both times. And last game it didn't work out fantastically for him, but FNB, I feel like just playing a little bit disrespectfully, and not really recognizing, that's Mininar, but at level 6, right? I'm a level down on him. He's got Meganar. This is where this stops being a counter matchup. And Guigo, hats off to him. He punished him.
Yeah, especially, again, when we consider this is a rematch from last game, and it didn't go this way. You'd really think that FNB should be very familiar with this matchup at this point. But Gigo, I guess that's why they just ran it back. He was like, okay, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. I messed up maybe a little bit.
He blinded it.
Yeah, and he just went, I'll do it again. Come at me, I'll prove you wrong this time. But FNB does have power in that top lane, and it is showing, as we saw Ranger once again going in there, stealing away that blue buff. Aegis is actually getting set really, really far behind on this Hecarim, which should be winning this matchup. And the longer he can keep Hecarim down, the better. The bigger question to me for Furia is, okay, aside from this jungle lead, what else you got? Because Natuno and Redbird right now don't have a lead, and you pick that Caitlyn to get a lead, especially into something like a Zeri, which has been nerfed repeatedly on 12.5, took a lot of early game hits here, and Teton has done such an amazing job. Eventually you're going to outscale as well, and the pressure is on Furia to try and make something happen. If your bot lane can't do it on their own, you need a call for help, whether it be from Ranger ganking or Envy roaming.
Yeah, no, it's going to come down to Ranger, and I'm glad you brought up the bot lane as well, because FNB, he's not having a great time right now. He's still even in CS. He's got an assist. He's essentially only down that kill, but he's not in a position to press the advantage that he had as heavily right now. Gravity field goes down. Guigo maybe looking for a cheeky roam of his own. Now Ranger channels the dash here. Guigo in some trouble. He's Mininar. He goes down. Ranger handing over a kill to Envy. This is how it starts. This is Furia's way back in, or just cause some BS in the bot lane. But here comes Aegis, the aforementioned jungler for Red. Titan did go down. He blew both his sums as well. Oh, and a double kill for Yuumi. It begins again. RMC.
Jojo wants another MVP here for my 4.
Jeez.
And like I said, I'm actually okay with Yuumi picking up the kills, because Yuumi can always just attach to somebody else. But let's touch on what just happened mid lane. We can't seem to praise anybody here. We praise Gigo immediately. He kind of, I don't want to say ints it, but it looks kind of like that there. Just going in blind, absolutely getting punished as Mini now, and the bot side here. This is the interesting play to come through because while sure Natuno did get the kill onto Teton here, it's a lot closer than it should be. And even if Aegis didn't show up, I don't think Natuno gets out alive. And so you trade 80 carry for 80 carry. It's not worth it. You're the Caitlyn. You're supposed to be the one who is ahead, and you can smell that desperation in this bot lane right now.
Yeah, the engage just wasn't quite there from Titan and JoJo, but now, so yeah, that lost chapter, or not lost chapter, final chapter. There we go. It just completely whiffed, and even an exhausted Natuno was able to dump back enough damage, and it worked out just fine. Now, the final chapter user has a lost chapter in JoJo. Yeah, no, and like you said, this is gonna hit. And as we get out of laning phase, maybe a little less, but like the Q, the prowling something or other, but that sneaky range, and it hits really hard, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's something interesting here. Every single member of Furia is ahead of every single member of Red, except for Redbird. Right, and that's just because JoJo has those 2 kills. So Furia swinging this lead firmly back in their favor, and wouldn't you know it, first one to a mythic item on the top lane. That's FNB. He's had a rough game. We talked about it, but now it seems like he has stemmed the bleeding, and now Red on the back foot here. They're looking for something.
And that lead 4x4 just appeared with that significantly just appeared with that top lane turret take with the Herald with them rotating the Tuno up. But before that, they're within, 500 gold of each other here. And like I said, 15 minutes, I want to see a 3k gold lead. If I'm not seeing that, it's not good enough. They've got that 2k now. Furia, what else can they do? Dragon's coming up in 9 seconds. And like you said, with the mythics coming through, Furia's got 3. Red's only got 1 right now. This is where you need to keep pressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so far so good, but it's not good enough just yet to start to see this game out. Furia looking for a pick here. Guigo is mega. Or he will be soon anyways. Got that in the pocket. Ranger, maybe a little too far forward, goes back into the mist. Gonna start up this dragon. Everybody's here. It's a 5-on-5. Guigo throwing out the boomerangs here. Grevthar with that zone control. Can do a lot here, but they opt not to flip it. The game's still in the balance, but Furia very nicely right now. Mountain Soul on the line in about 10 minutes, maybe. They put themselves in a really good position here. Up 2k, up a tower, and up 2 dragons.
Solid play from both of these teams here, 4x4. Furia for being able to actually get that dragon, which they really, really want to keep snowballing or playing off their early lead. And
Natuno right in there with the final chapter, hits him hard, and Ranger going to pick up the body of the only member of Red with a mythic RMC, like you said, but not able to pick up anything else. It's again 80 carry for 80 carry, and again the Yuumi got the kill.
It's just great. JoJo carry, man. Teton's the support here. He's just the bait for JoJo, it looks like. Now, what I was saying before that was, Furia, they're pushing their leads. And even this play is them trying to push that lead further. Unfortunately, they do have to sack Natuno for it. It's actually not that big a sacrifice. It's not ideal, but also it's Caitlyn. Viego is really going to be that big carry towards the end of the game. But Red able to answer back 1-for-1. And for that dragon, I actually really respect that they didn't coin flip that dragon. If you have the better skilling, there's no need to take those risks here. They poke their head, they get the poke. If they can find someone, great. If you can't, that's fine too. And on this bot side, as much as we say that, okay, losing the Tuno is not that big a deal for Red. Literally anybody in that fight picking up the kill was good. Aegis skills, Teton skills, JoJo skills. So answering 1-for-1, they keep things safe and they don't lose any turret plates on that bot side turret.
Natuno trying to get a couple more here before the clock strikes midnight, or 14 minutes, depending on your flavor here. Envy going forward. Ends a charm, and he's history. Titan goes down in a heartbeat, and this is free turret plating gold at the last second, extending that lead. Here's your 3k gold lead, RMC. You got it.
Perfect. Furia are on track here. It's not going to be a wash. I'm very glad to see that 4x4 because I was getting worried about how the early game went, and I want to see them continue pressuring that bot side. Sure, plates are about to drop off here, and they might not get all the plates, but if they open up the map here, we're seeing some really good map movements from Envy, from Ranger here. And if you put Natuno into that mid lane, it just makes it easier for Envy and Ranger to actually look for these ganks. And with that burst damage right now, what they can do to Teton, they can do under a turret.
Turret plate gold was even last time around. Now, 1,600 to 0. 10-0. as far as turret plates are concerned. You said it. That is where the majority of this goal is coming from for Furia. They're down 1-0 in this series. They were down 1-0 to Pain and flipped it to a 2-1 off the back of some gutsy play by Ranger in game 2. And we're seeing a bit of deja vu here, RMC. Ranger's put the team on his back right now. He goes forward, gets all the CC there onto Grevthar, holds onto his ult, but burns Flash.
Okay. And as long as Grevthar is alive, he can wave clear. So
Amen.
That's fine for now. You can take the poke. You're good to go. You can see that Furia weren't quite able to push on, and good attempts, but that's what I'm talking about here, 4x4, right? Envy didn't have Spirit Rush. If they did, I think maybe you start looking for those dives. We're talking about Teton getting dove, but you can do the same thing with Grevthar here as well. And for Furia, the other thing to keep in mind is Herald's coming back up soon. So while Grevthar on this Victor can wave clear really well into regular minions, Herald's a different beast altogether, and Furia will want to try and maximize that Herald as much as possible. Oh, they canceled the back.
Objective bounties already on the table here. Aegis has got his Triforce. 3, Trinity Force. A Triforce, if you will. But now, only now, are the Mythics coming through for the rest of the team. You said it. Grevthar can wave clear. Yeah, if you're Furia, you say, great. We want to make sure you do nothing but wave clear. We want to shove in your lanes. Yeah, be a good little turret bot and get those advantages for your team while we go and take objectives. Again, Furia keeping their foot on the gas. Ranger going to do some counter jungling here. He's feeling big. All going to plan for Furia so far.
And if we think back to how it got to this state here 4x4, a lot of it is from the jungle. The fact that Ranger and FMB, while they didn't get huge leads in lane initially, they were just constantly punishing Aegis. And Aegis, I'm not sure if Aegis has even gotten a single blue buff this game. It feels like every time we look at that blue buff, it's because Ranger is in there taking it with the help of FNB. And so for Red here, as much as we're saying, okay, they've got scaling on their side, we're hitting that critical point where this might just snowball out of control. Fury have gone for a 2k gold lead to double that in the span of about 5 minutes here. And look at what's happening. FNB is now split pushing. No one on Red can answer. Even in the remaining 4v4, Red don't feel like they're strong enough to fight this, even with a teamfight composition.
No, and especially with, I mean, if Guigo had gotten picked there in Mini-Gnar, that would feel just absolutely horrible. You've got one job as Gnar, and that is to get your ult off. Now, trading objectives here. It's going to be the mid-tier 1. Aegis going to mop up that dragon. They're going to get 2 charges out of this. Yes, you stop the 3-0 dragon stacking. And you get an objective bounty, to be fair. Those are big, as we know. But you got 2 charges, 2 towers in the mid lane out of this for Furia. And they're going to take the camps all the way on their way back.
They're going to just rotate top as well. Why not? Yeah. You've got minions right there.
Absolutely.
And Red were just wrong side of the map at the wrong time, and we're talking about gold leads here 4x4. The dragon stacking really isn't that important for Furia. If they're playing for soul, it's probably going to take too long. So they're playing for gold, and we went from 4k now to 5k on this push here. And more importantly, the map is opened up. So it's going to give more space for Furia, who have the more mobile team. It's weird to say that when the other team has Hecarim, but Furia, with the Ahri right now, with the Viego, feel more mobile when they can get better, quicker picks.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. LDR immediately here on Natuno, and the Ludens has come through on JoJo. He's got a Dark Seal. He has not given up on this game. He is very much online and looking to rumble. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you mentioned this kind of critical mass point, this point of no return here. And yeah, I mean, we're do you want to resync real quick?
Yeah, I think we're having some technical difficulties. We are a little bit desynced here in terms of what we're seeing. So we're going to take a quick second here. 4x4, but 30 seconds, 31, 32, 33. 34. All right. Okay. Close enough there, and hopefully we'll be able to get those fights, because there should be one coming up right here.
Yep. Looks like a pick there onto JoJo. Oh, he got a Dark Seal, but for what, friend? Redbert joining in on the supports getting kills party. And now they're going to continue to push down here. These objective bounties are becoming useless because Red can't seem to get anything here. The only recompense they've gotten so far was that 3rd dragon.
Yeah, and look at the item discrepancy, right? Natuno's up a full item here for all that he struggled in lane. He's now pretty much there. We're seeing half an item discrepancies in most of the lanes as well, and they're pushing in. There's only one remaining inner turret right now for Red in this bot lane here. And I don't think that's going to be standing very long. Great pickup from Grefthar bot side to try and find some gold to keep things still even. But honestly, even at 5K is not where you want to be at 20 minutes.
No, not at all. No, like you said, it's just cresting that 20-minute mark, but the amount of damage that Furia have done, 5 towers to 1, 5,000 gold. And with the LDR completed for Natuno, last whisper there for FNB. They're just going to chew right through Aegis and Guigo. They're starting to stack armor early, but it's going to matter a lot less here. We haven't, I mean, Grefthar, he's got his Unleashed TP. He's out there just trying to get some sort of gold. That's the first tower that Red have taken. That feels really, really rough. This might be number 2 here. But this is it's time's up right now, right? I mean, the scaling advantage has to come on right now because Furia have executed this comp perfectly here. Look at all the bodies it's taken to just take down one tower. And now FNB and company are just going to say, all right, cool. We are going to just run it down mid here. We've got a numbers advantage. We've got a range advantage here as well. Natuno can siege these towers from 1.5 miles away. Yeah,
and I was thinking about the opportunity cost, but it really hit home when Aegis showed with Jojo there. And then suddenly Furia was just like, wait, everybody's up there? Just shove mid. Literally, they can't respond for at least 8 seconds, and they committed to try and take that turret faster. I don't know if that's the right call. Gigo now very, very far up. Is a level up from FNB here.
Yeah, we credit FNB for making the most out of a bad situation, but Guigo has been doing just fine. He's really, really comfortable on this Gnar. And ever since Trinity Force became this kind of optimal first item for Gnar, he can really hold his own in side lanes, especially with the Hullbreaker nerfs. That feels really, really good. But he's a much better duelist than you might give him credit for, because although, yes, his primary objective as a Gnar is an ult bot, you can't just be an ult bot and survive in the meta as long as Gnar has.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Malphite isn't picked that much in pro play, even though he is a really solid pick, one of the best team fighters, but that's all he's got is that big ultimate. And for Gigo, with that Warden's Mill alone, he was already very comfortable in the 1v1. He might not outright win it, but he's also never going to die to it. And now he's got the full Randuins here. Good luck to FNB trying to split push into this. At best, you can kind of hold even here, and FNB is still trying to split push. Look at him go on that top side right now. And for Furia, Dragon is coming up. Baron's on the table. They're going for Baron here. There's no vision for Red, but I actually think this is really risky for Furia. I don't know if they'd win a fight at Baron despite their goal lead.
Well, they're certainly going to light up the vision and just look to collapse here. Guigo's got the Mega Gnar bar right there on the edge. Titan playing with fire a little bit. This might just be the objective trade. Yeah, like you said, they threw down some vision. Maybe they wouldn't want to fight. They made sure that Furia wasn't going to, or that Red wasn't going to try to contest. And now looks like they might, giving up on the Dragon halfway through. Do they have the damage just yet to take down the Baron? It's only at about 1/3 health. Envy in a tough spot. Everfrost and dashes out of the way. Final chapter goes out. They get locked down onto Redbird, but he's able to flash away from the gravity field. That was a second later from being an absolute disaster, but now Envy going to bring the disaster to Red. Furia winning the team fight. They turn around the fight. Titan returning damage. Ranger and Envy have to flash away the ace in the hole, absorbed by Aegis.
And this was the big worry I had, for both these teams, not just for Furia. I don't think Furia could do Baron safely, but Red also can't just let Furia take it for free. And because they went down to that Dragon without sufficient vision on Baron, they panicked at the end. They were like, hey, wait, hold up. Red's not even coming here. We have no vision on Baron. They're probably on it. They turn around, but it's too little, too late there. Now TP down. They don't even want to give up the Dragon. They're being greedy, and they can probably get away with it.
It's FNB and Envy. That is so much damage. Grefthar has to flash over the wall. It's going to be a smite fight. Aegis has it. Tries to fear away Furia, but it's secured, in fact, by Red. And no kills traded over just yet. Now Envy in a little bit of trouble here. Titan over the wall. He's dashing forward. He's got a little bit more sustain in that Giant Spell. It's going to help out a ton. He gets a huge shutdown. And Natuno picks up a kill in return as well. But Ranger, he's got Baron buff, and he's got a mind to break open this base. Red survive a chaotic couple minutes here.
Yeah, and that's, I think, Furia also getting a little bit overconfident there. They sent the double TP. That's fine. That's good. But when you saw that many people there, you knew you weren't going to secure it. Either you kill Aegis or you don't get it, because Ranger was pushing top side. Thankfully, they only lose Envy, and they still have the Baron buff here. And they also have equal numbers because Gigo did get picked. So Furia are still able to push and maximize the use of this Baron buff.
8K is the gold lead right now. 8,000 gold for Furia, but Red not going quietly into that good night. Like you said, it was a respectable effort in terms of keeping your foot on the gas. But like you said, Ranger wasn't there to contest the objective. That wasn't really about the objective. That was about trying to pick up kills. And to be fair, they almost wiped Grevthar off the map. He's 0-0-0 now. Just really not that effective goose eggs on the board for the Red Canids mid laner. But you saw what Envy and FNB were able to do so much up front burst.
Yeah, and it's not so much about Grevthar's scoreline. It's more about FNB and NB's scoreline, right? The 0-2 and 4 here, where you're up 20 gold and have a bunch of plates. For Envy, you know, the 2-1 and 5 situation. If you can do that to Grevthar, you can do that to Mininar Gigo as well. And even Teton, who's now just picked up the Titanic Hydra, still isn't quite that tanky yet. So you can absolutely pop this Zeri. And for Red, their skills starting to come online. We're seeing that in some of these fights. The damage is starting to come through. It's just not enough at this point. Furia is too far accelerated. They managed to play their early game out the way they wanted to. And with 40 seconds on this Baron here, once again, it feels like Red a little bit not in position to receive this. They're scrambling now to come in, but if Teton gets picked here...
It was close. Jojo and his 3 kills. He sold the Dark Seal, which is good. But he still got that Ludens. He can still hit pretty hard. Yeah, he picked up 2 really quick deaths despite those early... Oh, excuse me. Those early 3 kills. He was a combined 8-0 across these 2 games before these 2 deaths as a support. It's a monstrous effort, but is it enough? Laying down the poke there is Titan, or at least he's trying. Grevthar trying to wave clear. It was a 4-1 initially, but here comes Ranger, maybe looking for a dive. The Spectral Maw went out. Here comes the Lightning Crash, and now they've got the disengage. There goes the Chaos Storm as well. Ranger has to get the heck out of dodge. FNB disengaging with the ultimate, but also laying down some damage in response. Jojo trying to speed up Aegis potentially for a retake, but Redbert and Natuno are full health, and Natuno can wave clear with the best of them as well. You saw it, RMC, like you said, that scaling starting to come online. It isn't just as easy as being able to dive, even with an 8K gold lead, because there still is so much potential in this composition for Red.
And for that came down to a buzzer beater right there. Both teams were tracking how long they have on the Baron. Keep in mind, we get to see the Baron timer. The teams don't. They're judging based on what they see on that toolbar, as well as what exact time they took that Baron in chat, if somebody's tracking that there. And you could see Red definitely was. As soon as the timer hit 0, they aggressed on it. And Furia, they were just a little bit shy of taking that bot side inhib turret. It's still standing, but it's really low. And we've seen that Furia split push game is very effective right now. While FNB can't kill Gigo, if Gigo is even the slightest bit late to respond, this split push Graves is very, very quick at shoving out those lanes. And you probably only need, what, 3-4 autos on that bot side turret to take it down at this point. So things are still on that knife's edge here. Furia can take the inhibitor. They're set up for that next dragon, for that next Baron as well here. But if they can't, well, Red just need to keep on stalling. That's their mantra right now. Just survive, just survive.
The wave clear is good. The team fight is even better. You saw what Grevthar was able to do. He got that, got the Leandries as the mythic, yes, and that's probably the call because you don't need that flat pen when you could just pick up a Shadow Flame. And into this team, that feels really, really good. The 4-1 is back. This time it's FNB in the mid lane. Envy dashing forward, almost got that charm off. You saw that coming from a mile away. Natuno getting out of there with the 90 caliber net. Throws down the Peacemaker as well. FNB not with the team. Is this where you pull the trigger? They're certainly trying. Guido gets one, gets him into a tower stump. That is a big ult, but now FNB, he's in the base. He's just trying to shove this out. He's not going to be able to end it, but he's going to cause some chaos if he can help it. The team fight coming through for Red here. It's another shutdown for Titan. Now Grevthar going to answer. Pops the Immortal Shield Bow shield. Ranger is in big trouble in the Harrowed Path here. Gets out of trouble for now, but that's a Hecarim with a Yumi attached to him. He can outrun just about anything. There's that Prowling projectile. A shutdown for Jojo. RMC, we got a ball game.
Yep, we said it. Just survive. And Red have just survived long enough here. They don't even lose the inhibitor on that bot side there because the inhib turret drops at too much. Furia overstepping a little bit. And you said that you could see Envy's charm coming from a mile away. Yeah, you can. But there's not much you can do about it. It was just to create space. The problem was when Furia decided that, hey, we maybe can look for a little bit more here. No, you can't. FNB was not with you. We're at a numbers disadvantage, and FNB's decision to turn around came back to bite them because FNB got nothing on that push. Okay, minions take the inhib, but the other one respawn. It's not the end all be all. It is going to be rough to fight for this Baron though, with supers pushing down on the opposite side of the map.
RMC, I wanna give the statistic that just flashed up on the screen. In that last fight, Jojo had the most damage dealt by like a just disrespectful amount. You weren't. I mean, you were absolutely right that yeah, 5 kills on a Renata, that's something. But Yuumi, she's tilting for a number of reasons, but her damage is sneaky. Not to you, because you called that out immediately in draft after I kind of made a joke about it. But you were like, no, like unironically, if that happens again, watch out. And he did 3,000 damage in that last fight. It was more than anyone else by at least 1,000.
Yeah, this is why I have to, the reason why I'm so aware of this 4x4 is I have trauma from playing against Yumis. I banned that crap because people joke about it being a no-brain champion. Maybe it might not be a brain champion, might not even be a hands champion, but it does so much damage, and that's why we keep seeing it prop up in pro play here. And now 9 kills, it does feel like Red's kind of getting to that point where they can start to look up. Sure, it's not just the Yuumi anymore. Teton's starting to put out that damage, and he's starting to get tanky enough to survive. We're not seeing the resets come through for Furia, and more importantly, Natuno isn't hitting quite the same way. Yes, the shots hurt, especially those headshots, but the amount of autos that are coming out from Natuno in these fights is not high enough to match the sustained damage that we're seeing, not just from Teton and Aegis, but even Grethar with that Chaos Storm.
Yeah, the scaling is truly coming online. And I didn't think we were going to be able to play for Soul, RMC, but out of nowhere, Red have stacked 3 Mountain Dragons. And with about 245 here on the Mountain Drake, that's going to be the next objective. I think it's just been kind of fight, look for picks, and it's been Red, being the immovable object to Furia's unstoppable force. But now both these teams gonna play a little more calculated here, because they're recognizing this game's on a knife's edge. But maybe not here. I mean, what would you do? Is it still worth it for Furia to try to milk every last advantage they can out of the lead that they do have, or do you take your foot off the gas a little bit right now?
You have to.
Or is it not that simple?
Yeah, it's a little bit not that simple, but I think for Furia, they have to keep pushing here, because the longer the game goes on, the worse it is. And you actually don't want to be fighting when that dragon comes up. If Baron's still up, that's the worst situation for Furia here, because Ridge is going to answer you on the other side of the map, right? They have enough damage to actually try and rush down a Baron here. And if they contest you, if they take away that Mountain Soul, that is the worst possible soul for a reset composition to try and play into. Because suddenly the shields, and that's 4 Mountain stacking, that's a percent modifier as well. And suddenly Viego, Ari, they don't get a chance to get their resets. We've said before, they don't have that great sustained damage. FNB's going to be stepping up for the damage here, but FNB's not been part of a lot of these fights here. So for Furia, you want to be pushing the next minute 30. You want to take that Baron, or at least take another inhib here to apply pressure from Red. If not, Red are just going to sit back. We don't have to take it. We just have to stop you from taking it.
Yep. And then eventually they will be able to take it, right? It's right now it's still survive, but a couple more survivals, and it turns into thrive, and they're just going to start running over these fights. The ult cooldown on on Meganar is I'm still floored by it. Like once you hit level 16 and you get 2 or 3 items under you, it's up. Like you can't actually get too off in a fight, but it kind of feels like it.
You can if the fight's long enough here. Yeah. If Furia can escape, they can do it. Now Furia, this is what I was calling for, right? Dragon's not up yet. They're going for this. You'll love to see it. Natuno over the wall. Don't stop. Take it. Oh no.
Red Star TPing in. Titan over the wall. He wants it onto Envy. He knows he's got a charm to dodge. Now the ace in the hole from Natuno onto Titan. He's going to get half his health back because he's got a Yuumi on his team. Guigo not going to get pounced upon because they see that rage bar is up to almost its maximum. This is what separates good from great in our players, is being able to play on this knife's edge. Envy wanted the pick, but he almost got picked himself.
Yeah. He was trying to use that last sack of Spirit Rush, and it's biting them back so hard right now. FNB is trying to split push once again here. He does have that TP up and available, but that's Mountain Soul for Red. And Furia, this is Desperation Baron.
Yep, this is absolutely it. This is desperation, Baron split push. We're going to make you make a decision. And Aegis says, all right, I'm going to take my support. I'm going to grab Mountain Soul. You're going to take an inhib and Baron. But actually, yeah, this is a little more than maybe they bargained for. Mountain Soul is going to be monstrous. And so I still think there's a lot of onus placed on this play right now. I still chalk this up as a failure because Red have withstanded worse, and now they've got Mountain Soul. They can withstand it even better.
Yeah, so I agree. And for Furia, this is not the ideal case scenario, and for Red, they're okay with this. But Red, when put to the decision, when put to the test, I think fumbled the call a little bit here. They didn't properly contest the Baron, and they didn't fully commit to the Dragon. You do one or the other. If you fully commit to the Dragon, at least you can go and maybe fight them, contest them at Baron after they take it when you've got Soul. But you kind of got neither. And FNB gets Inhibitor, gets out scot-free. Red Furia get Baron on all 5 members, again, scot-free. And this extends that timer for Furia. This is Furia's last hurrah. They have a chance to end the game off of all these benefits that they've got. They've got supers pushing bot. They've got open inhibs mid and bot here. And they've got Baron buff for these minions. If Furia wins this next fight, they win the game here completely. And it's very, very winnable right now.
Grevthar and Red with Mountain Soul. This is the last hurrah for Furia. The gold lead has not dwindled below 6K. Like you were saying, this is kind of it here. With that Baron push, the top lane is sending supers down, and Guigo did a good job of pushing that all the way out and kind of delaying the inevitable here, but that's going to be a big reason why this is going to be the last hurrah here. And if now, with the supers catching up here, you don't even need the Baron wave on that. Those super minions kind of function as a quasi-Baron buff. Yeah. They're going to absolutely trample this. There goes the ult, or excuse me, there goes the final chapter. They're going to wait that out. That's a big ultimate, not going to be available, but Aegis now out of the fight. He popped Ghost, but he still has his ultimate. Guigo and FNB doing battle in the mid lane. Gravity Field down. Grevthar still has his ultimate. That's a lot of damage from FNB. Envy forward, gets the pick, the charm onto Aegis. He's got a Yuumi on his back. Is it enough? Yes, actually. And now the Gravity Field comes down onto Ranger, and the pick is there onto Grevthar. It's all falling apart. Titan, he can wave clear, but Furia have 5 members, and a Baron buff. Guigo, Aegis, and Jojo holding out the defense here. Now on one more push with the super minions in the top lane. It is the Titan, Aegis, and Jojo show now, but Guigo flashing forward, not going to get the ult that he wanted. Envy forward in response, gets the charm, and Guigo goes down. This is last gas for Red. Aegis goes forward with the ultimate. He's got the Yuumi back on him. Titan buying his team some time with the stopwatch, but it's not enough. Furia almost let it slip away, but they lock down a crucial game 2, and the series is tied 1-1.
Now this 4x4 is what I expect when I see Red and Furia on the docket here. This back and forth nature of the game, and Furia, when their backs were up against the wall here, they